In your exercise files folder, you'll see a folder called Extras. And inside that folder, you'll see two subfolders, Generic Side Menu and Generic Top Menu. What these are generic pages that you can use as a basis for integrating these techniques into your own websites. These are very simple examples. They have very little formatting, and they're the same menus, and they have the little experimentation pane so that you can experiment with different values. And there's one for a menu on the top, and there's one for a menu on the side. And this uses exactly the same JavaScript and has these same sorts of options. So that you can experiment with different values. Now, a note about the side menu example, you notice that it uses different default values here than the top menu example. And this one actually used a default of ½ second for the fades. In the side menu HTML, you'll notice near the top where I've overridden the default values. So this is just a little bit of JavaScript in the XHTML file where I've overridden these values. So this is one way you can change the defaults without having to go into the JavaScript and change it there. Obviously, when you've decided on values and you know what you're going to do, you want to put it in the JavaScript. But if you want to use one JavaScript file for several different menus on a site, and those menus have different defaults, this is one technique you can use for overriding the configuration defaults in the JavaScript file. Other than that, these examples are very much like we've seen before. We're using exactly the same technique with the unordered lists and the list items, and we have the on mouse over like that. And so how this works is exactly the same. Obviously, the CSS is going to be significantly different for menus on the side. Where you position things, how you position things in the CSS is going to be significantly different. And so you have an example here that you can use as a basis for your own implementation. Sometimes you'll want a menu on the side, and sometimes you'll want a menu on the top. And now you have some examples of how to do that that might serve you well as starting points for your own projects.